For decades, we were limited by the risks of genetic tinkering. But that era is over. We are now entering the age of CRISPR 2.0, technically known as prime editing. This technology isn't just a cure for disease, it is the tool that will separate humanity from its biology. From the first trials in 2026 to the rise of a new species in 2075. To understand where we are going, we have to understand the tools that have taken us there. For the last decade, we have lived in the age of CRISPR-Cas9. You can think of this as a pair of molecular scissors. It finds a gene and cuts the DNA strand in half. It is powerful, but it's blunt. The repair process is messy, often leaving behind genetic scars. But now, we are entering the age of prime editing. This isn't a pair of scissors, it's a molecular word processor. Instead of snapping the DNA in half, it makes a tiny nick and uses a search and replace function to recode the life code with absolute precision. This shift from cutting to writing changes everything. Here's the timeline of our future. 2025, the age of in-body editing begins. Major Western nations approve systemic in-body CRISPR treatments for non-contagious diseases like certain liver disorders. This moves us past the old auto shop method, taking cells out, fixing them in a lab and putting them back in. Instead, we now have mobile mechanics, tiny molecular tools injected directly into the bloodstream to find and fix the broken genes right where they live. This groundbreaking leap is validated by successful Phase 1 and 2 trials for prime editing, which demonstrates a higher standard of search and replace precision inside living cells. Gene therapy instantly shifts from a niche, expensive procedure to a mainstream medical option. This success generates massive public interest, but also forces health regulators to scramble. The debate around the ethics and safety of delivering genetic modification tools directly into the body sharply increases, demanding immediate new regulatory frameworks. 2030, functional cure for chronic disease achieved. A combined gene therapy leveraging the pinpoint search and replace precision of prime editing achieves a permanent, functional cure for a widespread, life-altering condition like type 1 diabetes or a significant slowing of early-stage Alzheimer's progression. This success proves that highly scalable, systemic cures for complex chronic diseases are entirely possible, shattering decades of accepted medical limits. Health crises linked to chronic diseases begin to fundamentally recede. This technological victory places an immense financial strain on traditional healthcare and insurance models, which were designed to profit from renting you treatments for life rather than selling you a one-time repair. The concept of preemptive editing, fixing a genetic risk before it ever becomes a disease, gains serious traction. Think of it like fixing a wobble in a car wheel years before the axle actually snaps. We are no longer treating the crash, we are editing the risk out of the system entirely.
But there was a question we were not asking. Should we?
2037, the Pandora's box moment. The line between therapy and enhancement is irrevocably broken. The first fully legal, government-approved clinical trials for germline or inheritable editing begin, focused strictly on preventing severe congenital defects. But simultaneously, independent, less regulated labs, likely operating in politically ambiguous biohavens, begin high-profile, successful, but highly controversial trials. These trials aim to boost non-disease traits like memory, processing speed, or muscle growth. This is the difference between renovating a single house versus changing the architectural blueprints for every house built after it. One is temporary, the other changes the city forever. This initiates a major global ethical and political crisis. The world is suddenly forced to confront what the true definition of a natural human is, and the profound social question of who gets access to improvements that will be passed down to their children. 2045, Global Gene Editing Regulations, the Helsinki Protocol. Amid widespread public fear of a genetic arms race, the world unites temporarily to sign the first comprehensive international treaty, the Helsinki Protocol. This treaty strictly bans all inheritable enhancements that confer a competitive social or physical advantage, attempting to close Pandora's box. However, the ban only solidifies a two-tiered system. Wealthy states continue to focus on making universal somatic, non-inheritable health editing available to all citizens. Meanwhile, black markets and unregulated biohavens continue to push illegal inheritable enhancements for a new global elite. The term GenRich enters the global lexicon. Much like we have a digital divide today, we now face a genetic divide. But unlike owning a better phone, the GenRich possess biological advantages, better memories, stronger hearts that they bought, paid for, and encoded into their bloodline. 2050. AI-driven diagnostic platforms trained on millions of sequenced genomes make personal genome sequencing and genetic risk assessment instantaneous and affordable. Almost every citizen in developed nations receives an annual gene health analysis, resulting in widespread, highly targeted preventative editing, like removing cancer risk markers long before they manifest. The average healthy life expectancy dramatically increases, often exceeding 90 years. Health becomes less a matter of biological luck and more a matter of compliance and resources. This massive success shifts the focus of healthcare spending entirely towards preventative editing and lifespan management.
2060, the Environmental Genome Project. The scope of gene editing expands beyond the human body to the entire planet. We begin acting as the planet's IT department, releasing software patches for nature. Scientists successfully engineer specialist fungi for consuming plastic waste, create climate-resistant staple crops, and re-engineer coral to withstand rapid ocean acidification. Humanity demonstrates its capacity to undo some environmental damage, establishing gene editing as a standard tool for planetary management. This success, however, also raises profound questions about synthetic ecology, biological control, and the morality of fundamentally changing the planet's existing life forms. 2068, the first generation of individuals who received complex, inheritable, non-protocol enhancements, the GenRich, reach political maturity and influence. They begin advocating for the outright repeal of the Helsinki Protocol, arguing for genetic freedom and the right of parents to perfect their offspring. A sharp political polarization forms along genetic lines. For the first time, social inequality is visibly and biologically ingrained. This introduces a deep systemic tension that directly threatens the core democratic principle of equal human capability, fueling the tension between the enhanced and the unmodified. 2075, the end of natural disease selection, the consensus. By 2075, the vast majority of infants born in the developed world now undergo non-inheritable somatic editing to eliminate all known high-risk genetic diseases before the age of 2. For millions of years, nature decided who survived based on genetic luck. We have now turned off that autopilot and taken the wheel. Natural disease selection is effectively removed from the human life cycle. Humanity gains unprecedented control over its health and longevity. However, the shadow of inheritable editing remains.
The deep biological schism created by the GenRich and the continuing debate over the Helsinki Protocol fuels the tension, setting the stage for the next century of conflict and transformation.